Sean Diddy Combs, the hip-hop mogul whose bad boy empire reshaped urban music and whose parties defined extravagance, now confronts the inexorable march toward sentencing in a federal courtroom that has stripped away layers of his invincibility. In a decisive ruling that quashed his final gambits for freedom, the presiding judge rejected motions for acquittal and a new trial, dismissing arguments that range from evidentiary overreach to constitutional protections. This denial, delivered mere days before the gavel falls on his fate, caps a saga that has transfixed the entertainment world. A fall from grace propelled by allegations of sex trafficking, racketeering, and a web of coercion that allegedly ensnared victims over decades. Combs, once the self-proclaimed bad boy for life, now embodies a cautionary archetype, the titan toppled by the very power he wielded, his legacy teetering between innovation and infamy. The courtroom drama unfolded against the backdrop of a high-profile trial that laid bare the underbelly of Combs' dominion. Convicted on counts including transportation for prostitution, a charge that prosecutors framed as part of a broader pattern of exploitation, the 55-year-old faces a potential life sentence, a stark pivot from the champagne-soaked boardrooms of his youth. The jury's July verdict, after weeks of testimony from accusers painting vivid tableaus of manipulation and menace, marked the culmination of federal probes sparked by civil suits and raids on his opulent properties. Combs' defense, a phalanx of high-caliber attorneys, mounted a vigorous counteroffensive, seeking post-verdict relief on grounds that the evidence failed to meet the threshold for conviction and that procedural missteps warranted a do-over. Central to their plea was a provocative First Amendment invocation, that the government's portrayal of Combs' adult film activities as criminal veered into censorship of consensual expression, a stretch that the Judge Arun Subramanian eviscerated as frivolous and detached from the case's coercive core. Subramanian's order, a meticulous dissection clocking in at dozens of pages, methodically dismantled the acquittal bid by affirming the jury's reasonable interpretation of the facts. Witnesses, including former employees and alleged victims, had testified to a freak-off culture, elaborate, drug-fueled encounters orchestrated by Combs and enforced through intimidation. The judge highlighted how the prosecution wove these accounts into a tapestry of enterprise corruption, rejecting defense claims of isolated indiscretions. On the new trial front, arguments of juror misconduct or biased instructions fell flat. Subramanian underscored the trial's fairness, noting that Combs' team had ample opportunity to cross-examine and counter. The pornographic angle, a last-ditch Hail Mary citing free speech protections for the videos seized in evidence, was particularly rebuffed. The judge clarified that the charges hinged not on production but on the exploitative framework surrounding it, a distinction that preserved the verdict's integrity. This ruling arrives as Combs prepares for a sentencing hearing freighted with gravity, where mitigating factors like his philanthropy, millions donated to black causes and youth programs, clash against aggravating ones, the scale of alleged harm and his unrepentant posture. Supporters, from music peers to civil rights advocates, have flooded the docket with letters attesting to his cultural contributions. The launch of Notorious B.I.G., the mainstreaming of hip-hop via MTV, the Bad Boy Records roster that birthed anthems of resilience. Yet, detractors point to a pattern of predation, amplified by Cassie Ventura's 2023 lawsuit that cracked the facade, triggering a domino of accusations. Combs, detained since his September arrest, has maintained innocence, his public statements a blend of defiance and introspection, vowing to fight with everything I have. The broader reverberations of this chapter ripple through hip-hop's hallowed halls, prompting reckonings with power dynamics long whispered about. Combs' ascent, from Harlem hustler to billionaire tastemaker, was a masterclass in branding. The white-suited impresario at the 1998 VMAs, the white parties that lured A-listers to his yacht. But beneath the gloss lurked shadows, lawsuits over unpaid royalties, whispers of volatility, that the trial illuminated in harsh fluorescence. Legal experts speculate on appeals grounds, perhaps federal overreach or venue bias, but Subramanian's thoroughness erects formidable barriers. As sentencing looms, Combs' inner circle, family including his mother Janice and loyalists like his children, braces for outcomes that could range from decades behind bars to supervised release, contingent on remorse demonstrations. For victims' advocates, the denial is vindication. A system holding accountable the untouchable, signaling that celebrity shields no longer suffice. Combs' case, intertwined with #MeToo's evolution, underscores entertainment's overdue audit. How mogul's charisma masked control and silence was currency. His discography, from I'll Be Missing You elegies to MO Money MO Problems ironies, now invites reinterpretation through this prism. Triumphs tainted by the human cost. In the quiet antechamber to judgment, Combs confronts not just legal chains but existential ones. The erosion of a self-made myth. Philanthropy pivots, like his Revolt TV network championing black voices, persist as lifelines in his narrative. Yet, as the judge's pen dries on denial, the hip-hop patriarch stands at a precipice. His story a somber coda to an era where excess and empire often blurred with exploitation. Sentencing will not merely tally years, it will recalibrate legacies, reminding that even bad boys must answer to the beat of justice's unyielding drum.